So this is their final project for auditing by Jay, myself, Syed, Darin, and Mizan. So there's going to be two parts to this. For part one, um, we're supposed basically we're supposed JSDM is an insurance firm which has two offices, one in Mississauga and the other in Oakville. So the group members Jay, Syed, Mizan, and Darin are called upon to implement information systems designed for JSDM and its two offices. So again, the objective of part one is to design and document the required information system for JSDM.
And our office has two locations. One is the Mississauga location, which is at 4205 Ship Drive in Mississauga, and the second location, which is the Oakville office at 279 Riverside Drive in Oakville.
This is a basic map of the two distance between the two locations. With both locations being in the Greater Toronto Area, JSDM could not ask for a better setting for its two offices. The Mississauga office is in downtown Mississauga. Square One Shopping Center is a 5-minute walk from the office. The access to GO Station is not that difficult either, as Cooksville Grove, Square One GO Station, and Port Credit Grove are all less than a 20-minute drive, making it easier for the employees to commute to work. The Oakville location is located near shores of Lake Ontario, in downtown Oakville. And the Oakville GO Station is only a 10-minute drive from this office. There's also shuttle buses that are offered on a 15-minute time interval daily for employees who have to travel between the two office locations, and it has Wi-Fi, WPA2 Wi-Fi connection in the bus.
Now we talk about the JSDM General IT Policy and Procedure Manual. The JSDM IT Policy and Procedure Manual provides the policies and procedures for use of IT within the business, in addition to the system infrastructure which must be followed by all staff. It also provides guidelines JSDM will use to admin these policies, with the correct procedures to follow. JSDM will keep all IT policies current and relevant. Therefore, from time to time, it will be necessary to modify and amend some sections of the policies and procedures or to add new procedures when necessary.
So so now we're going to talk about the procedures and policies in detail. So this figure right here shows it's basically the hierarchy of the company. So you got the president and vice president, and then all the departments and the department head, sorry, and then all the employees that fall under for each department. This diagram will be referred to a lot during this presentation and the report. So now we're going to talk about change management. So JSDM has a change management policy. So if any changes required, JSDM has a change management policy where the department head then has the choice of referring to the change management team or forward the change request to the vice president for approval. On the scope of the change, depending on the scope of the change. For minor changes such as replacing a printer in the office, the department head could directly go to the vice president. For major changes that could impact JSDM in a major way, the department head must consult the change management team. The change management team will look at change and make sure the changes are implemented in a manner that is best for JSDM, according to this figure right here. So a change will be requested. The change request will be looked at. You review the request, the change, and then the change proposal, and then you gotta see if it's approved or not, and then you gotta adjust to it. So project plans and executing the new plan and informing and continuing.
So now we talk about individual duties at JSDM. At JSDM, it is imperative that every employee agrees to the JSDM terms and conditions about keeping certain information confidential and private. It is also essential that employees should not have access to certain data and that the department heads have access to it as necessary. JSDM makes sure that they follow the CIA triangle, and there is a figure for reference here for the CIA triangle. Next.
Next, we're going to talk about the user responsibilities and the passwords. So passwords expire after 30 days and must be changed to a new password. New password must be a password that the user has not used 5 times. Also, the password must be 8 characters long, at least 8 characters long. All accounts are locked after 3 failed attempts, and the user send a password reset email under JSDM email. protecting unattended user equipment. There's sensors on the desk to lock the idle computer screens.
Next, we talk about bring your own device policies. If employees want to bring their own device, JSDM will allow it. The best practice, security wise, is to use the computers and tablets in the office, but JSDM will not stop anyone from bringing their laptops and tablets to work. A BlackBerry Q10 will be provided by JSDM to all employees in all departments to deal with work related necessities. JSDM will provide all employees with laptops to do their work on or at home, from or at home. If employees still want to bring their own device, they're free to and can still access the internet connection. JSDM recommends employees to install the security applications that they use on their computers and on their devices. Next, we talk about disposal of media. Since JSDM is an insurance company that left customer data in their database, any customer data that is not required anymore by JSDM for business purposes is securely deleted by the JSDM IT department. Next, we talk about removable media policies at JSDM. JSDM has removable media policies which does not allow employees to use external hard drives or any external media without the permission of the respective department head. You can refer to the operational hierarchy diagram for this. Next, we talk about reporting information security events and weaknesses. JSDM at employee training, you can again refer to the additional imperative security implementations manual for more details. JSDM at employee training will tell all of its employees to report any information security related issues to the higher departments. They will then report it to the IT department, who will address the issue to the information security department. Again, you can refer to the JSDM's operational hierarchy for this. User privilege procedures at JSDM. At JSDM, privileges are implemented according to the JSDM's operational hierarchy. It is imperative that every employee at JSDM has a password for their system. The password allocation is controlled by the IT security team. The JSDM IT department leaders also make sure that they review all employees' access rights every 35 days. Physical media in transit. JSDM takes the security and integrity of customer information very seriously. With that being said, JSDM ensures that any media containing information that is protected against unauthorized access, misuse, or corruption. Any customer data stored in a database is protected by the IT security team. Any confidential data that is physically stored is always locked up in a safe room with extremely secure implementation, such as multiple locks. The email service at JSDM. JSDM has an email domain called js@jsdm.net, and they give this to every employee. This email service has end-to-end encryption implemented. JSDM will make sure that no one except the parties involved in the email can see the message sent in the email. Information handling and security. JSDM makes sure that all customer documentation is protected with passwords, and confidential documents are encrypted and password protected to prevent unauthorized access.
So this is the customer data policy. JSDM ensures that no customer data will be exposed to third-party companies. Also note, this policy was added after this report was externally audited by the other group, and we added this policy after the audit feedback. And now we're gonna talk about internal auditing and logging. So at JSDM, audit logs are enabled. The reason audit logs are enabled is because JSDM wants to make sure their systems are secure. System administrator and system operator activities are indeed logged and protected by JSDM. The log data at JSDM is encrypted. Any faults that occur at JSDM are also logged by the IT security team. After the log data is analyzed by the change management team to decide what change to propose and perhaps implement in the future. Now, the next topic is going to be malicious and mobile code. So the information security team at JSDM now monitors all codes on the servers. Specific things that JSDM looks at is any sign of SQL injection, which is shown in this figure right here, Trojan house, any viruses, and trapdoor. So this is the network setup, the JSDM network setup.
This is network setup for the Mississauga office, and the enterprise in the first room's local network as shown above. This includes VPN for remote and local access and an IDS behind the firewall. The above is the stem located in the Mississauga office. The next diagram shows us the network setup for the Oakville office, and this room is only able to have network access granted by the first when the first topology is active. Side room antivirus is included on each host. This does not include bring your own device policies. The above is the Oakville office again.
So now we're going to talk about network access controls. So the Wi-Fi is WP82 protected. At JSDM, there are no open ports. There are several WAN connections. Employees can connect to the the connection called JSDM app, while administrators and higher deans can connect to the Wi-Fi connection called JSDM. The reason for having these two different Wi-Fi connections at both locations because this connection JSDM extends across the organization's physical boundaries, and thus only administrators and higher deans can connect to it.
Next, we talk about the operating system used at JSDM. So the operating system used on all computers at JSDM is Windows 10. The servers use Microsoft Windows Server 2016. All systems at JSDM are password protected and have firewalls and IDSS installed on them. About assets and their protection. So at JSDM, there are access controls in place where specific information can be accessed only by certain people. You can please refer to the JSDM operational hierarchy diagram that's shown here. Next, we talk about the sensitive system isolation. JSDM servers have a separate room dedicated to them. Department heads have a separate room for their computers. Next, we talk about additional imperative security implementations. For example, employee training. At JSDM, when employees are getting hired, they will get trained about information security. A formal form will be given to each employee on which there will be procedures and policies they must follow. By signing the formal form, employees will agree to the fact that they have learned the terms and policies of JSDM. By doing this, JSDM department heads can trust their employees because they will have training on best information security practices, such as how to make good and strong passwords. Access cards. Every employee at JSDM will have an ID card. This ID card will allow access to certain buildings. In order to access the server room, only certain individuals can use their access card to do so. For example, a sales and marketing employee would not be permitted to enter the server room. If they scan their ID card to unlock access to the server room, the door will not open. Employees will need their ID card to enter any of the two office locations. The parking lots barriers at both offices, the parking lot barriers at both offices will not open until employees scan their cards. Surveillance. CCTV recording cameras are present at both office locations. The parking lots also have CCTV coverage. Department head offices have fingerprint locks, in addition to a 6-digit password lock. The server room has a 5-digit passcode lock at both JSDM offices. Only the department heads know this passcode.
Also, CCTV footage is in color and is running 24/7. And now we're gonna talk about the router encryption, which is another security implementation. So all routers at JSDM are encrypted by a VPN server. All the WAN traffic is tunneled through a VPN server, which ensure internet safety for all users in the two offices and the shuttle bus. So here's just a little diagram of how the VPN works with the router. For more information, please refer to the report on page 21. And then this one's kind of obvious for any company, but at JSDM, all the information systems are backed up, and all the databases, systems, and servers are backed up and are reliable because the IT team also performs periodic testing on them. And lastly, for the additional security implementations, business continuity planning and disaster recovery planning are in place at JSDM. They're handled by the change management team, and this figure right here basically explains what each plan does and how they're related to each other. So for the BCP, it's the business management procedure, the business continuity strategy, and the risk assessments, and the DRP is basically emergency management procedures.
Next, we talk about the JSDM office overview and physical security. The Mississauga office has 2 floors. At this location, the sales, marketing, and advertising departments are located on the first floor. On the second floor, the accounts department and the consultation department are located. There is one indoor and one outdoor parking parking lot for the employees to park their cars. There is also paid customer parking at both offices. The Oakville office has only one floor. At this location, the IT and development department and legal department are located. Like the Mississauga office, there is plenty of parking available for employees both indoors and outdoors. A more detailed network and system diagram can be viewed in the JSDM network setup section of this report.
So basically, this is the evacuation plan of the first floor in the Mississauga office. And this is the evacuation plan for the second floor in the Mississauga office. And this is the evacuation plan for the Oakville office. Just in case, so all these plans could be looked at just in case if an emergency occurs and employees need to get out or customers need to get out of the building. So in conclusion, JSDM's network main weakness is clearly the bring your own device policy. Um, it introduces a vector that is much harder to control. Pinpointing such a device becomes a bit easier with the use of a VPN system, and hardens it with having a firewall and ideas to help the understanding of what type of network traffic is occurring and and to and from who. The main branch situated in Mississauga is in the stem of the company's infrastructure, having Oakville's piggybacks off its security to help keep the cost down. This is down by routing traffic through the Mississauga campus and then pushing it through a firewall and IDS. JSDN policy is the first line of defense. It is matched with a rigorous training process and strongly reinforced with a strong strike system to help keep employees and management in check at all times. At the end of the day, breaches will happen, and the goal is to be prepared and to learn from each breach to better prepare for the next one. And JSD and the information security implementation is also nicely planned out, so JSD will be prepared for a breach at all times. So these are the references for part one, and now we will talk about part two. So in part two, we're basically supposed to audit another group. So part two in the report, if you want more details, we'll have results of the audit on the data hosting company's IT security domain. The audit report is based on several important policies that come under information security, and it was performed on April 20th, 2018 by the same group members. So myself, Syed, Darin, um, Mizan, and Jay. So again, the objective was to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of security measures in the company. NIST and ISO 2700 frameworks were used to audit. This figure right here compares and contracts between the two, and both of them were used to conduct the audit. So what we observed um, from the audit was that the minimum password length was of 8 characters. The max password age was at 360 days. There were 7 invalid attempts after the system gets locked. The procedures were included in the report. The backups are reliable by periodic testing. Encryption was implemented. They had a risk management policy. They didn't have monitoring, so that should be added. Their guidelines were documented, which is good, and the security plan should be updated more frequently. So, in conclusion, we found that this company needs to change or update their policies according to the NIST framework. And here's the references for part two. And that was the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.